All right, guys. Hey, it's RodimusPrimal. I'm actually doing this live on camera. I'm doing something a little different tonight. I wanted to hopefully, address some comments and concerns about my latest video, which is um, the Primus and the Quintessons. I'm going to keep it short tonight. I'm not going to actually talk very long, probably maybe no more than 15 minutes. I just wanted to talk over something because I got a comment by another YouTuber on my comments, and I just kind of want to address it. I just want to talk about some stuff. Hey there, guys! I see you there. Coming on. If you're coming into the chat now, whole idea tonight. I wanted to just to kind of address a few things about Primus and the Quintessons. First of all, I want to know if you guys have any questions about the video itself. So really, before I start getting started, if you guys have seen it, I put it up yesterday. It's now a little over a day old, and it's starting to get pretty popular. What I did was I presented the origin in the cartoon, I presented the origin in the comic book, and then I did my own personal theory about what I honestly think the way that the cartoon universe fits into the multiverse. It's Primus and the Quintessons, so it makes sense, I think, in my eyes. I think that that's from all the different research that I've done on Transformers and everything else like that, I think that it makes a lot of sense. But there are some things that, I may have overlooked. There might be some things that, I might have gotten wrong, and I'm always open to debate and discussion. So, I'm just a Transformers fan who likes to, make these videos for you guys. So first of all, I want to address who actually it is. One of the comments was by Primus Prime 22. He's got a growing YouTube channel. He does awesome work. He really presents things in like a textbook fashion about the lore of Transformers, and he goes into like some deep stuff about the multiverse. Hey, what's going on there? I see you guys there all coming, one at a time as you guys are coming in. But I am, discussing about the discussion I'm having with Primus Prime 22. And it's an interesting conversation to have because, he's a very historical context. Like, this is the way that it is. This is the way that they do it. And I presented a theory. Viva Mexico, or Mexico. That's like, I presented what happened in the cartoon, what happened in the comic, and then I presented my theory in my latest video. So, I think that I presented it pretty well. I mean, the only thing that I can probably say, that he had pointed out was that, I called the one God, and that is because I'll admit it. I mean, I'm religious. I do go to church on Sundays, or actually Saturday nights. But so I called the one God, and so that that is probably something that I had gotten wrong, which I'm willing to admit. As to answer your question there, A Fox Gamer. The 13 primes were created by Primus. Initially, by the way that the comic originally presented it, the comics only had one Transformer come out, and he was Prima. And then the 13, was later something that was brought out in the whole multiverse thing. But obviously, it keeps on expanding. The story kept on expanding. And that's really the question. The whole thing is that I decided not to answer any of the questions about who the 13 was. And I decided not to talk about the 13 themselves because the problem with the 13 is that they're no longer a multiversal singularity. At one point, they were written that there were going to be. But now they're not. You know what I mean? Like, they're not. They're no longer like a multiverse of singularity, which means that the 13 of the comics universe, G1 Comics, is not the same 13 of the Transformers Prime universe, and they're not the same 13 of, another universe. So, or I believe maybe the Unicron trilogy, but the Unicron trilogy, it's kind of like it's its own thing. It does, obviously, is its own universe as well. It's like everything has its own universal stream, and it all fits in together, different ways. See, the thing about me, I am a G1 cartoon fan. I love the G1 cartoon. I've read the G1 comics, and I understand the G1 comics, and I enjoy both. And I enjoy everything else that comes after Transformers, but I always revert back to the G1 cartoon. So anything that like comes out of anything Transformers, I'm like, well, how does this help me relate to the G1 cartoon? To answer your question, let's see here. Do I think there'll be a sequel to G1? I think they decided that the current comic book that's out by IDW, that's been going on for now over 10 years, is now their new G1. I wish that they actually did an animated series that took place after the G1 cartoon, or if they just did a fresh G1 take instead of actually just like, hey, let's make a brand new series with mini-cons and then decide that we'll make, in part an anime, and that's, of course, Transformers Armada. The movies are their own thing. Everything is its own thing. And the thing about Transformers is it's like this vast multiverse. You know what I mean? Like, Transformers, the multiverse, there's just... it's a plethora of, like, just everything you can think of, it's... there's a bunch of universes with the Transformers animated cartoon, and Derek J. Wyatt, who is in charge of that cartoon, he decided there was going to be no Primus in that universe. Instead, every Transformer was given life through the Allspark, which is pretty much how the live action films did their thing. The live action films decided to do it that way with the Allspark, but now the live action films are bringing in the Quintessons or something else. We don't know. If you go by the original 3H BotCon comics that came out around, 2005, I think it was, to answer this question, the Quintessons in that comic book were created by Unicron. They came to Cybertron, and in that comic book, when they came to Cybertron, they then experimented, with the plasma energy chamber, and they experimented with Vector Sigma to block Vector Sigma, block the signal being sent off by Cybertron so that Unicron couldn't find the planet. And then they decided to make the Quintessons. Well, my theory is that they came and they found the Transformers that were there, whether it be the 13 or whether it be more after that fact. It's kind of like what my theory is that they came and already found the existing Transformers and then made them their slaves and then mass produced them. Well, to answer the question there, Milo, Primus is supposed to exist in every single universe, so that he's actually a part of. So if he's not within the universe, then he's not in that universe at all. So if he's in the comic book, then he's in that universe. If he's in the Unicron trilogy, which is Armada, Energon, and Cybertron, then he exists in that. But he exists in it all at once, so he knows what's going on in the the comic book, and he knows what's going on in the Unicron trilogy. To answer the question there, who is my favorite Transformer in the live action series? I really liked Sideswipe. I really liked that robot. You know, as far as like the car, I liked his the blades. Wish he didn't get killed off in between the third and the fourth film. I really liked Crosshairs. I just liked his attitude, and I loved Hound. I do know who Diamond Bolt is. I've seen his videos. I don't know if he's seen mine or not. But so who created Primus? The person who created Primus was the sentient core of the universe, which is the One. Again, this is something that I stated in my Primus and Quintessons video, that the One was God, because, like I said, I'm religious, and so I kind of like saw into the One possibly being God himself, but that probably is not the case. The One was just basically the core of the universe itself, creating Unicron. Unicron meant to destroy the universe instead of actually exploring it, and so the One, in its creation of Unicron, then also used the same energy to split Unicron into Primus and Unicron, and then the two of them fought each other until Primus trapped Unicron and Primus into their planetary prisons. So, we created with different stories except Unicron. The Unicron trilogy, it's you know, the Unicron trilogy, that's another animal in and of itself, and that's because a lot of the things that happened in the Unicron trilogy, I think, kind of went back in and put stuff into the whole idea behind the multiverse. It's because of the Unicron trilogy that, like, a lot of this stuff that got interjected. But we can also thank Beast Wars for that. Things like the Spark and Stasis Lock, and Starscream's indestructible Spark, instead of him just being a ghost. But but the whole reason why I'm having this discussion, and so I want to bring this to this point, is that Primus Prime 22 asked me this, kind of brought it up to me, and he's like, you're kind of like, the way that you presented this was kind of off. And I just kind of wanted to get your guys' feedback on it, because I made the video like I wanted to present you guys the original G1 cartoon and comic book origins, and then kind of present my theory. Even though I kind of didn't touch every little thing, I wanted to like put it all together in that way. And like I said, his channel, it's growing, and I like his videos. I mean, I've seen his stuff. He does things in a very he does things in a very historical fashion. So if you like the nitty-gritty details, his videos will give you that. And so I'm actually promoting him, so to speak, even though what would seem like, if you actually see my in the comment section in that video, and if you go on his Reddit, it might look like we're at odds. That's not the case. There is no animosity between us. I don't like to cause any beef between anybody. I'm just kind of like, I just want to be a cool YouTuber with you guys, and just make awesome Transformers videos and bring things to the table, because I don't think there's enough of us Transformers YouTubers out there. I don't think that there's enough of us willing to bring our thoughts, our passions, our things about Transformers to the table. And I like to talk more, things more than Transformers too. I mean, I can go on and on to you about how you should watch the original trilogy of Star Wars before you watch the prequel trilogy, if you're going to watch the prequel trilogy at all, and not watch it in chronological order. I can go on and on with you about how the Fourth Doctor was awesome in Doctor Who, and I am really confused about what's going on with the 12th Doctor. My least favorite Transformer series, I can say my least favorite Transformer series, Energon and Energon and Combiner Wars, the web series. Um, those two I really don't care for. Um, Answer the questions here. Let's see. The Fallen being a Quintesson. No, the Fallen is not a Quintesson. He was one of the original Transformers that were, birthed by Primus. He decided to worship Unicron. I think that's probably the best way that we can describe what he chose to do. Unicron represents the devil in Transformers universe. Yeah, that's kind of how they brought Unicron in. I mean, if you look at him, he's got horns. He's kind of looks like a big giant devil or demon. The mustache, the beard. That's kind of what he looks like. But and the thing is yeah, he's the kind of the Transformers equivalent to the devil. And that is simply because he's evil. And giving that imagery works for us because we see Transformers in fiction and it should make sense to us, so to speak. I mean, I don't know what this thing in Transformers The Last Knight is supposed to be that's attacking Earth. I don't know if it is Cybertron or if it's kind of some super weapon that the Quintessons are using. But if you've watched all the trailers for Transformers The Last Knight, is that Unicron? Is it Cybertron? What is it? I don't know. Do I think that Unicron will be in Transformers 5? I think that if he's not in Transformers 5, I think he's coming soon. If he's not Earth as he is in Transformers Prime. Yeah, and Primus, yeah, you could say is like God. Primus isn't like the God. He is the Transformers God, so to speak. He is the core. Every single Transformer that comes to life, their sparks are basically, in essence, part of part of him. It's the sparks themselves are energized through him. Talk about Vector Prime. What I can say about Vector Prime without getting too much into it, obviously he came out in Transformers Cybertron. He was basically retrofitted as to be one of the original 13. What image you showed in the video you're talking about? I'm reading your comments, so I'm just kind of trying to get. If the Allspark is the Allspark was dispersed. If you're talking about the Transformers, the live action films, the Allspark was dispersed, and I think got energized into the Matrix itself when Sam Witwicky finally got it. Basically he transferred the actual Allspark into it. So I'm trying to read your comments. So if I seem like I'm just kind of taking my time here, I'm just trying to get everything together. Yeah, I agree with Levi Church. Yeah, that it's Primus Prime 22 whose theories is where I'm actually pulling from. Is what it's again. It's the reason. I don't know if anybody's newcomers are coming in right now. His comment is actually the whole reason why I decided to make this stream. It's just kind of to touch base with everybody because, again, I'm not. I will say this much. I do as much Transformers research as I can. I present what I know and I present my theories. And I like to show both. And I hope to get, opinions from you guys because at the end of the day, I mean, that's what it is. We're Transformers, we're Transformers fans. We're not just fans of anything else, though. I mean, obviously, here I'm wearing a Mega Man t-shirt. And, because I like robots and I like, anything pop culture. Best main characters in the Michael Bay films. I think I had already said that was Hound and Crosshairs and Sideswipe. The Afterlife, the Allspark itself, I think It depends upon like the universe itself that it's coming from. If you're talking about Transformers animated, the Allspark is just basically the source of Transformers life. The Allspark was basically the afterlife or the Matrix, what they call the Matrix, was the afterlife for Transformers and Beast Wars, and the Allspark in the live action films basically was where all the spark, the energy, where I guess all the sparks came from. I don't know if the Allspark itself actually is, I don't know if it actually is a, what's it called? I don't know if it actually is like Vector Sigma, if it's part of Primus. The thing about Transformers lore is that it's kind of like it's all it's all there, but we don't know if like in what universe is it part of this? Is it meant to be part of this? Is it part of that? If it's not part, it's confusing. It's really confusing, and that's kind of why I always fall back to G1. It's kind of why I don't like the idea behind the multiverse. I don't know how many of you guys have ever read the Crisis on Infinite Earths. That is DC's reboot back in the mid-'80s, where they took the entire DC universe and they rebooted it. And when they did, everything that happened before kind of in a way didn't happen, yet did. Because the whole continuity got, erased and yet didn't get erased, if that makes any sense. Because during the Crisis on Infinite Earths, Earth 2 was everything before, and Earth 1 was, basically the main continuity as it was going on at the time. Are the Quintessons related to Unicron? The Quintessons the Quintessons themselves, according to the BotCon comics, were created by Unicron. They were sent by Unicron to find Primus, and when they did, instead of actually reporting back to him, they chose to enslave the planet and make it a factory and make it a profitable business for them, because what they found was the Transformer life that we have. My opinion is that the Quintessons came either during the 13's existence or after they started they started producing more Transformers after the fact. At some point, the Quintessons came and enslaved the planet. Let's see. There reminds me of, I did see that he did respond. In fact, actually, I do have. Let me see if I can bring that up. Bring up his Reddit here. I'm on his Reddit right now. Actually, I can read his response. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it seems he and I kind of came to an understanding. So when we came to an understanding, it was kind of like one of those things where, hey, I don't want there to be animosity between me and another YouTuber. There's no reason for it. You know what I mean? There is literally no reason for two YouTubers who like to present Transformers, one in a very historical context, another like myself, in a more simpler way, to really argue with one another. Instead, we try to come together and come up with things together, and if we can help each other grow, I'm all for it. That's what I'm all for. Other YouTubers helping each other out. So let's see, to answer some more questions here. Let's see the what happened if two Unicrons meet. Um, that's a weird question. Yeah, the civilians decided to rebel against the Quintessons because, you know, they were tired of their being, they're tired of being slaves. I mean, you know, anybody would be if you were slaves for what they said 1,000,000 years. Yeah. I'm not going to silence critics. Like, I'm not going to try to silence anybody. In fact, I like discussion, Tim, and that's the whole reason why I made this video. So, hey, Nemesis Prime, what you missed basically was I'm talking about trying to get your guys' input and discussions and talk about my most latest video, which is Transformers, Primus and the Quintessons. And I had gotten a response by another YouTuber, Primus Prime 22. Saw his comments on his Reddit, and he and I are coming to an understanding. And in other words, what I'm trying to say is like there's going to be no bad blood. I don't want there to be any bad blood between us. Instead, I'd rather take his input, his discussions, and what he wants to bring to the table, and hopefully that everything can come together. Again, that video presents also my theory. That my theory is that this is what we have. So another thing I wanted to let me just answer that question for you. Are there good Quintessons in the Shattered universe? I mean, Shattered Glass universe. There's good Quintessons because the everything that's good is bad and everything that's bad is good. Marv Wolfman, the guy who wrote Christ Center, that's right. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Mood Wallet. That's actually very, very interesting. Marv Wolfman. I did not pick up on that. I should have. I should be somebody that picked up on that. That's probably why, Beast Machines got things like the Return of Optimus Prime in there. But knowing who the writers are. As far as the Matrix is concerned, I think that Prima probably passed the Matrix on, or held it, or maybe something happened to it. I'm not certain the full origins of the Matrix in cartoon continuity. In other words, I know that, yes, it does have, the essence of Primus in it, but maybe it was withheld. But we do know that Alpha Trion was one of the original Transformers. Once he got a hold of it, he's the one who held it on until he met Orion Pax and rebuilt Orion Pax into Optimus Prime. If you guys saw my video on what became of Dion, I explained the whole origin of Optimus Prime in cartoon, continuity, because I'm asking the question about what happened to Orion Pax's best friend Dion. And my theory obviously was that he became Ultra Magnus. Transformers Animated laid a lot of Easter eggs too, not just in Ben 10, Omniverse, but also in they actually used some G1 footage in their episodes, which was kind of funny. Beast Machines, I have a like-dislike about that. I enjoyed it because it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be, if that makes any sense. I think its ending, is probably I think its ending is probably what everybody hates. That's probably the reason why people didn't like Beast Machines, was just its ending. Like, oh, now Cybertron is half machine, half plant. It's like, what? Like, everything's trees and grass on Cybertron? That's probably one of the things that also the 3H BotCon comics actually was trying to undo. Yeah, I agree with you there, Mod Willie, and I agree. There's no reason for YouTubers to bicker for a certain goal, and that's. I'm glad that if you guys are all on board with me with that. That hey, if anything, if you guys haven't checked out his stuff, and on top of checking out all of my other videos, check out his videos too, because he does present things in a very historical context. Very, very good stuff. Let's see. Rise of the Dark Spark is basically the Alliant continuity meets the movie continuity. Or Dark Matrix and Regeneration 1. I have to reread Regeneration 1 because, I skimmed through it, as it was coming out when it first did, and I have to reread it again because the ending, it was so awesome that Rodimus Prime is finally getting a spotlight in the comics. And its ending was just kind of odd. I've gone on board with, to answer your question there, William the Puppet Devil, I am not watching any more TV spots. I am following suit with Raging Nation, that I am not watching any more TV spots or any more of that stuff. When my wife is watching TV and she's watching My Little Pony, with my daughter, and Transformers, TV spots come on, I'm not watching them. I am not watching them at all. Cybertron originally had Plant Life, so yeah, I guess so. I guess so, Tim. Plant Life, I guess but it also had animals and stuff like that. I don't understand Logos Prime either. Not fully. To me, Sound Blaster is rebuilt Soundwave. But yeah, I'm on board with no more TV spots. So, if everybody can get on board with that, we're not watching another TV spot until the movie comes out. I will see the movie on opening day, and I'm going to do my movie review for it. But here's the other thing that I'm also going to do. My wife and I decided that we are going to watch all 4 movies before it comes out. And I told her we're going to take a notebook. She's going to take a notebook. I'm going to take a notebook. We're going to watch all 4 movies. We're going to pick them apart, and then the 2 of us are going to do our movie reviews, and they're going to come out as we finish making them, right before the Last Night comes out. And then this way that when the Last Night comes out. So that's what you guys have in store, what I intend to make next. Liege Maximo is, he's one of the original 13. Apparently he's he is one of the most evil Transformers. Let's see, crossover like Transformers versus Godzilla. I don't mind seeing fan art of it, but Godzilla's too powerful. Godzilla's almost indestructible. Especially if you consider Shin Godzilla. Let's see. Yeah, if to answer what Tim is saying, yeah, my daughter helped beat a boss in Street Fighter Cross Mega Man. In my game review for that. That was fun. NZHC, I think, I'm currently, I just started Transformers Victory. I finally finished Transformers Master Force. And after finishing Transformers Master Force, I have to sit and marathon Transformers Victory. Once I finish that, I can then go and actually give you guys more about the Japanese continuity. I know the ending, but I want to see it as a whole. Because there are 3 Transformers series, that took place in Japanese continuity after G1. Well, if you count let's see, let me go with The next question, yeah, Godzilla is overpowered. Um, I don't think I've been going for the longest time that Unicron is going to be in the next movie. I mean, in Transformers: The Last Night. I think that maybe, maybe that they're doing Transformers Prime in that Unicron is Earth, and that maybe Cybertron is coming to Earth, or that is Unicron that's coming to Earth. But what do we know? It's where it's up in the air at this point. Should Rodimus Prime die or retire? If you go by Regeneration 1, he was the last Transformer to die, and expire, basically, in Regeneration 1 comics. So, as far as, die or retire, I think that he should come back as another Prime. I think it would be cool if there were two Primes existing at one point. Rodimus Prime and Optimus Prime, both leading the Autobots at the same time. Yeah, the ending to that series didn't involve Cybertron. Well, because Transformers Cybertron ended with the war ending. Like, it was just basically the end of the war. You can almost, like, in a weird way, like, say, like, that's the way that the Autobots defeated the Decepticons. Is there another way to kill Unicron besides the Matrix? In the in Transformers Armada, it was basically because they stopped fighting. But it's supposed to be the Matrix. That's supposed to, because the essence of Primus is the only thing that could destroy Unicron. And now we're talking about cookies. Now we're talking about cookies. All right. I don't think Optimus is going to kill Bumblebee. I think that he's going to get badly damaged. I think he's going to get his voice box finally back, which, about time. Freaking about time. If he doesn't get his voice back in this one, I'll be rather annoyed, because, the whole radio thing has gotten old. There should be no reason why. I mean, the first movie he gets his voice back, but then the second movie he doesn't have his voice anymore. Why? You got me. So they're rebuilding his voice box, in the new one. Who would win in a fight? I love this argument. I had a big fan of Marvel Comics. He was like, Galactus would eat Unicron for breakfast. I don't know. They're both planet eaters. They'd probably just fight over which planet they can eat. Yes, all 4 movies. That's gonna be real fun. Because my wife is not looking forward to it, and I have to, no, we're sitting down and we're watching all 4 movies over again. And I'm gonna make my video about it. Why does Galvatron keep his name instead of calling himself Megatron? I really like to know why that too, because I'm wondering where Galvatron is. Unless he's somehow, that is Megatron, and just basically Galvatron is what the company called him, but in reality he always was Megatron. Maybe that might make sense. Like, no, I never was Galvatron. No, I'm Megatron, and that would make sense. But I don't know, unless they're separate beings. Thanks a lot, line item. Let's see. Hi there, Optimus Prime. Is Galvatron? Are you talking about the G1 universe? In reference to what, A Fox? Because I'm trying to read everybody's comments and kind of. Well, all right, Super Optimus Prime. Let me answer your question there. That is only in aligned continuity. Quintus Prime does not exist in the multiverse outside of aligned continuity, because the 13 in the aligned continuity are a different 13 than the G1 comics. So I'm gonna have to rewatch Grimlock's New Brain, their line item. I'm definitely gonna have to rewatch that. I have it. I actually have it right here on my desk. My whole box set, because when I was doing research for my last video. I think the movie version. I think that they're the same being. They're one and the same. I still think that Megatron is Galvatron. I just think that Galvatron in the movie universe is not calling himself Galvatron. He's just going to call himself Megatron, and that maybe his body is getting rebuilt. If that makes any sense. Shattered Glass. I don't know exactly who's in the Shattered Glass universe. I only know bits and pieces of it. I've not read any of the comic books in Shattered Glass continuity. So I can't speak for knowing everything about it. So I don't want to give you guys, any of that. It would be cool if War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron fit into G1. But they chose to make it fit into Prime, Prime's continuity. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Thomas Alvaria. I'm probably mispronouncing your name, but is that that the aligned continuity is War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, Transformers Prime. There's a comic book that fits the story, I think. There's hold on a second here. Got a text message. Sorry about that. Like I said, I'll have to rewatch that episode. Hold on a second here. Yeah, that's true, A Fox Gamer. Is that the aligned continuity is just a cluster mess. It's just kind of weird. It just it doesn't really fit. I think, as far as the aligned continuity is concerned, Aaron Archer, I believe, said if you squint, it fits. And I just went, all right, I guess it does. All right, see you guys later. Anybody who's leaving, see you guys later. You can see it that way. Yeah, there's a big unexplained, disappearances of major characters. Well, I think the thing about Fall of Cybertron is like they all board the Ark at the end, and then obviously in Transformers: Robots in Disguise, they visit Mount St. Hilary, which is the G1 mountain where the original ship crashed. And they found, they went and looked for that base, in that cartoon. So it's possible that a version of G1 happened on, in the aligned continuity. Basically its own version of it, but obviously it's its own thing. So, yeah, that's true. The writers didn't try to make connected stories. They just basically were like, "Oh, hey, yeah, it all connects." Transformers Prime, Transformers Rescue Bots, and the current Robots in Disguise cartoon. The three of them fit together. They take place, together. The Fall of Cybertron and War for Cybertron games are supposed to fit in that universe, but things don't line up properly, because the makers of the games and the makers of the TV shows didn't try to make them connect. And so there's not something that really makes them connect. There's a comic book that actually fits better with the cartoons, that actually helps make it work together. And so the games are their own thing. Yeah, I guess you could say that would be the time gap. Yeah, they happen, current like this around the same time. Like season 1 of Robots in Disguise, it happens during season 4 of Rescue Bots, which, Robots in Disguise is the sequel to Prime. So, why Megatron didn't kill Starscream? I kind of presented that in my video. Yeah, I guess you can say that, the whole multi-timeline theory. I mean, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of multiverse things, but, I guess you can kind of say, like, well, in one universe it fits, in one universe it doesn't fit. Everything with Transformers and all its massive amounts of universes just give everybody a headache. And so, with all of you guys that are still on, I just want to, lay the point out again. So I'm bringing this to a close at this point, guys. The whole reason why I made this video and why I started talking about continuity and origins and stuff like that is because we were talking about Primus and the Quintessons, and that's my latest Transformers discussion video. I have watched, Diamond Bolt's videos. I have watched, Raging Nation's videos. I have seen, Primus Prime 22's videos. Primus Prime 22 actually, made a comment on the Primus and Quintesson video, and I decided to, respond about it and say, hey, we're coming together, trying to make sure everything works together. There's no bad blood between us. The reason why I can't stay live much longer is because my wife is almost home with my daughter, and this is our bedroom, and I don't want to, I don't want to have my daughter wake up while I'm live streaming. So it actually happened if you actually watch my live stream for Final Fantasy VI, my first one, my daughter came home and she started crying. But like I said, I didn't want to make any bad blood between us. Like, I don't, I want us to come together. We're a Transformers community. We can talk as much as we want. I recommend definitely, watching the rest of my videos. Check out his, Primus Prime 22's videos. Check out, any other Transformers YouTubers that are out there, because hey, we're all together. Stay tuned, because I'm actually working on reviewing the first 4 Transformers live action films. I'm going to review them with my wife, and we're going to pick them apart, and then we're going to, you guys are going to see my Transformers The Last Night review once the movie comes out, because I'm going to see it on opening night. Again, more power to more Transformers videos, guys. You guys have an awesome night. Have an awesome rest of the week. Hopefully makes more stuff. It's coming soon. And as always, guys, until next time.